here we are once again, Ron Carty at the Hotel Barracuda. It's Tuesday again, Paddy Expat Club, and as always, here I am with our speaker, Don, Mr. Don Hovis. Okay, Don, how are you?
My friend Ron.
And Don's back again. He spoke with us a little while ago, and but he was invited back because it was a very, very interesting talk, and the members thoroughly enjoyed it. But you spoke about the evolution of hip replacement, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, now look, before I ask you questions on this, I'd like you, because we've got people that don't know you, can you tell a little bit about your background?
Well, yes. How long do you want? I'm an old man and I've got a lot of background.
Don, short please, okay? But I know it's interesting because, very quickly, Don and I have had a few one-on-ones. I've known Don for a long time. We had coffee. Very, very interesting background and nice man, but Don, sadly, you've got to keep it short, okay?
I was raised in Pennsylvania, worked on a farm for 4 years, dairy farm. Married my childhood sweetheart. We had 4 kids. This is in a little town in northwestern Pennsylvania. We had 2 steel plants in our town. Both of them went on strike on the same day, and both of them were closed down. That was no place to be selling new and used cars.
Oh, great.
So I went looking for a different opportunity, and I got a great stroke of luck, and I found a job selling orthopedic soft goods and instruments and implants in Eastern Canada. So my wife and I and 4 little kids moved to Montreal.
Whoa.
And it was an interesting experience. I had no business training.
I was going to say that, yeah.
In high school, I had planned on being a doctor, so I took all the science courses. I couldn't type, never have learned.
I know that from the messages you send me.
So anyway, I had to learn about international business, about shipping. I had to learn about customs, and I had to learn about the language. It was French primarily in Montreal, so I had to try to learn that.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, these were medical products, and so I had to learn terminology. Right. So that's my background.
So big learning curve.
Man, it was tough the first couple of years.
It would have been, but I know from your last talk and from meeting you, you survived and were very successful. But you're talking about the history or the evolution of hip replacements. Why did you think that was important for our members to hear?
Well, I'm old.
You're mature.
Many people, the age of we expats, either have some hip problems or will be having hip problems. It is a common occurrence, a common problem. And I was fortunate to be involved in the development of some of these products and to have seen how it transpires. Just think about ivory being used as an implant to replace, think about leather and bakelite and all these materials that doctors, that's all they had available. So they did the best they could with what they had. So it was an evolution bringing us to today. The cement, the acrylic cement that Dr. Charlie and Dr. Smith worked together on was the big breakthrough. And that was in the early 60s. And from that point forward, the basic metals were, there are 3 that are being used: stainless steel, a chrome cobalt alloy, and titanium.
Okay, because I was going to ask you about, because you mentioned Dr. Charlie and the Charlie total hip.
Yes.
That was really a turning point.
That is, he was the father of...
A bit of a pun there, a turning point on the hip.
Yes. He's the turning point by using, he used Teflon, which was better than metal in terms of reducing this. If you have metal on metal, you do get ions working, and they get loosened, they get into the bloodstream, and it's bad for you because you don't want cobalt ions running through your bloodstream. Anyway, he used Teflon and then followed it up when he learned that Teflon was too soft. He used ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene.
So that was a key point in
Yes,
this
and the
evolution.
cement.
Interesting, and as always, you covered a lot of things, a lot of slides, not too technical, which was good, but then you swung off the hip replacements, you moved on to the doctors.
Yes,
And you spoke about the selected doctors, specifically in the US, that have made a career and a lot of money out of this. Is that right? Would you like to just say a little bit about that?
with the success of the Charnley total hip, and with American doctors going there and saying, "Hey, I can do that,"
Right.
but they needed to have cement,
Yes.
and cement was classed as a drug by the Food and Drug Administration. So, in order for the Food and Drug to feel comfortable, they said we will only allow a certain number of doctors in America. So there was one in Columbus, Ohio. There was one in Dayton. There was one in LA. There were three in New York. There were three.
Right.
So these doctors became specialists in total hips, and many of them had a close relationship with a manufacturer.
Right, of course.
And back in those days, getting a royalty
Yeah.
on the sales that a company made from you promoting and your courses, you're promoting the Richards hip, you're promoting a Zimmer hip, the Pfizer hip.
Yeah.
Then those companies would pay you a royalty for all of those products that
So
were.
not only were they helping others, they were also helping themselves.
They did, and those doctors also made a lot of money. Otherwise,
They would have done.
I made reference to one doctor that I know
They did.
that charged $2,500 for the surgery,
Yeah.
and
did
he
how
would
many?
he would do 3 in the morning,
That's it.
and he would do 3 in the afternoon, and he would do that 3 days a week.
Yep.
And then on the other 2 days a week,
Consulting.
he would he would recruit new patients, and he would be visiting patients in hospital.
Yeah.
So those doctors who were selected to be FDA investigators of cement became wealthy.
Interesting, eh?
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so today we've got a variety of shapes, is that right?
There are a variety of shapes and materials.
Right.
The cement, the polymethyl methacrylate, was popularized in the early 1960s, and it worked very well for many people and still is. However, there have been problems with it, and it is not an easy thing to work with. They have to take some training to work with the cement. So sintering is flame spraying metal balls, tiny little ones, onto the substrate or the stem of the prosthesis, and hoping that the bony tissue would grow into the interstices or the openings between the little metal balls. Another one is hydroxyapatite is being used, and it is a fake bone. It's a human-made bone material that they spray on top of the metal stem and introduce that, and again hoping that as that hydroxyapatite is absorbed by the body, that the tissues will hold the bone.
So one last question. So if you go for a hip replacement, you never cover this, and the doctors, I mean, who selects which hip replacement is best for you? Is it the doctor? Now, is he guided by your physical condition, or is he guided by the commissions and the royalties you're getting from promoting a product? Which one?
That's a very good question. Today, it's not legal to have a royalty directed from.
Okay, good.
So the doctors have to make the surgery or make the money otherwise. The next thing is those doctors that will go to a course will very likely followed. If you go to a Charnley course, you're going to Charnley Hip. If you go to a Mueller or a Bechtel or a Harris, whatever doctor, he will select those. And all of these doctors will have a choice of what to buy. Yes. Yep.
But not governed primarily by royalties, it's by the patient.
Not anymore.
And then the royalties are there, okay. Don, excellent, really. And as always, for our speakers, and specifically Mr. Don, you've got your certificate. Yet another one for you to put in the pride of place at your home.
Well, thank you for that.
That's yours, Don. So listen, I'm keeping it short. I do appreciate it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so look, once again, Ron Carty and tremendous speakers. Come on and
I'm
join
not
us.
an engineer.
Pardon?
I'm not an engineer.
No, you're retired. It doesn't mean you're current. You were a retired engineer. We promoted you. We promoted you. Okay. Come along and see us every Tuesday, Hotel Barracuda. Good company, good food, good breakfast, interesting speakers, fantastic. We'll see you all next Tuesday. Come and join us. Once again, Don from everybody, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Yep. I appreciate you.
No, thank
I do. Yep.
Done.